for meeting with the Chronicle editorial board.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
So you should know that since you showed up a little bit late, the editorial board did take the opportunity before you came to make up its mind.
Well, you know, I'm glad to provide you some entertainment. I will say one thing. Are we still? Yeah. Well, this is done. Why don't we go off the record on this? One thing I'd ask people to consider, though. You know, I don't. This is my hometown newspaper, so I don't follow I don't follow your editorials on a regular basis. But one thing, when this issue of experience comes up, I always ask the editorial boards to consider. Most of you spend enormous amounts of ink complaining about how broken the politics in Washington are, how sordid and inefficient and ineffective it is. And yet, during the course of campaigns or conversations, you're looking for validation in terms of how well does this person work this system that you are constantly decrying and saying is broken and doesn't work. And I think it's important at some point, you know, to ask, do we need somebody who, in fact, is not steeped in the very traditions that you say have not served the American people? Or are we willing to, you know, break out of that pattern?
Well, the real question is how you're going to fix it. We get to the question of how you're going to fix it because you talked about you're going to have to shame members of Congress. You're going to have to force members of Congress. I mean, that, you know, there's a lot of slamming going on.
No. I mean, when I say shame, though, my attitude is people respond to incentives, emotional as well as economic. And most members of Congress get into Congress wanting to do the right thing. But what they find is they're not necessarily rewarded for doing the right thing. I mean, the truth is, if they buck an interest group and their constituents know nothing about it, that they stood firm on this issue, and yet suddenly they've got a big campaign financed against them, that it makes them, you know, be in a fight of their lives. You know, after a certain time, they get worn down. So the question, you know, what I should have said is not just shaming them, but also applauding them when they're doing the right thing, giving them some sense that, you know, making well-reasoned decisions in the national interest will actually result in them having greater longevity in Congress, having an easier time during an election. That is the problem right now is that when they do the right thing, they're not necessarily rewarded, and sometimes they're punished. And that's what I want to change. And the president can use the bully pulpit to help change that. So, thank you, everybody.
That last point you made about experience was a terrific point. Can we have that another article?
You can.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
That's one of the best things I said.
The last thing? Yes.